afternoon, South Africa. Welcome to Afternoon Express. Happy Monday. It's a very special Monday here on Afternoon Express because today we're joined by a legend of R&B all the way from the US. Karyn White has been in the business for 3 decades and she's currently on tour in South Africa. We get to chat to her. Plus, there's a big nationwide march against gender-based violence coming up this Wednesday. It's called #Total Shutdown. And later we'll be getting more information from the convener and national liaison for the event. In our Mommy Monday feature, we continue the discussion from last week involving no homework for school kids. And today we're joined by the principal of a primary school in Cape Town that has zero homework policy, and apparently they've had great success. And to get the week started on a healthy note in the kitchen, we're joined by Taste Magazine's Abigail Donnely, and she's making some nutritious veggie burgers. Now, Karyn White is one of the most iconic voices of the 80s and 90s. She's currently in South Africa headlining the Divas 2018 tour, and R&B fans will instantly recognize her greatest hits like The Way You Love Me, Superwoman, and her more recent hit, Unbreakable.
My heart's unbreakable, is unbreakable. Put your hands to my chest, rip my heart right out my soul. Oh, I'm unbreakable. Let's keep it cool. Around my fringe, you make me look like a fool. Running from the truth is catching up to you. You broke my love to pieces with all the games you played. You need to act your age. You sit and smile and...
Wow, ladies and gentlemen, let us welcome Karyn White to the studio. How are you?
Hey, girl, I am so happy to be here. I'm doing great, a little jet lagged.
Yeah?
But it's worth it.
Absolutely. You don't look a day older than Superwoman.
Did y'all hear that? Yes. You know, it's really, really cool because I have a daughter who's 25, and so we take pictures and, you know, it's like, is that your sister? Okay, Ashley. She's like, I don't want to be in the pictures with you, Mom.
Yeah, because you're stealing her shine. So I remember my childhood. Your song was a big part of my childhood. And as a self-proclaimed feminist, I feel like that was the first time I connected with a song in a way that articulated what young women are speaking about today. They're saying, this is not who I am. I'm not here to be your superwoman. I'm Superwoman, but I'm not here to be your Superwoman. And especially in South Africa, it's quite topical because on Wednesday we're having this national shutdown march against gender-based violence. So there's so much conversation around this, and it's such a relevant song to discuss at this point. How did that song come about, and what did it mean for you?
Wow, that's something, because, you know, let me say this first, that this Superwoman will be 30 years this year. Well, it is 30 years.
Wow.
So isn't that something?
That's incredible.
So a timeless subject. It came about, you know, I didn't write the song. I performed the song. It was written by the iconic Babyface and L.A. Reid and Daryl Simmons. And I was young. When I sang it, honestly, I thought of my mother because she was every bit of a superwoman. And so I had to really kind of pull from her experiences. But it's something because I believe that they were so hot at that time, you know, the producers, Ellie and Faze, everybody wanted to work with them. And the fact that I got that song, I guess they saw that I had that in me to be a superwoman, because after being away from the business, I walked away from the business 17 years. So coming back after 17 years, you gotta be like crazy, right?
Right.
But no, I love it, and it's, you know, it's been just a journey coming back, and you know, I love the fact that I'm singing again and performing, and I'm kicking myself to go, why did I ever stop?
Why did I ever stop? But you know what, in order to, if you walk away from a career for 17 years and then come back to it, it means that you laid a really strong foundation for it. What do you think are some of the decisions you made that could ensure that you could come back to it?
Well, I guess, first of all, you know, having timeless music, that's really important.
Yeah.
Having a fan base who, you know, loves and supports you is the most important thing. And that's been what I found, and that even I had no idea, because I've been coming over to South Africa, this is my 3rd time. I had no idea 3 years ago that my music, you know, was known even more so in the States, because my third album was really popular here, the Make 'Em Do Right album.
Yeah,
You know, I'd
yeah.
rather be alone, can I stay with
Absolutely.
you? Hunger. I mean, people just
Listen,
don't
I have
everything.
exercise books with your lyrics in them.
Really?
Yeah.
Like exercise books?
Yeah, like we used to write down lyrics to our favorite songs in exercise books.
Wow.
Yeah, basically.
So, you know, I'm just like, I feel, you know, it's just coming back and then knowing that, you know, that, because music is different in the States, you know, they don't, I don't feel like they really appreciate it as much, because we have so much music
You guys are
over
spoiled
there.
for choice.
So spoiled.
Yeah.
And here it's like, I believe that R&B music is still special, and you guys uphold it. So it's just like, I was in Johannesburg and then in Cape Town, I mean, and it was just bananas. And I gave it all.
Were you overwhelmed?
Oh my God. But it just, as an artist, you just like, I mean, you just want to cry.
It's incredible.
It's just an
Absolutely.
awesome feeling,
Yeah.
because you feel like you're loved and not forgotten.
Absolutely. So what brings you to South Africa? You're headlining the 2018 Divas concert.
Yes, Divas of Cape Town.
Yeah.
Yes, and it's an amazing show. This will be our last show. We'll be in Port Elizabeth on Saturday. And we've done, you know, Johannesburg and Cape Town, and it's been a great show. Awesome, you know, Paxton from American Idol, I guess, is one of the singers. She's joined me as my opening artist, and as well as some other great, amazing, talented. I mean, these girls are so talented.
Yeah.
And I love to see the unity that we have. You know, just all supporting each other, and me being, you know, the legend. I like that. I'm like, say that again.
Say that again. So, looking back at your career when you began in the music industry, what are some of how has the environment changed for women in a way that you never imagined would happen when you came in?
Oh, well, for women, I mean, it's changed, period. First and foremost, just the whole internet and music, and the fact that, like, okay, the charts now.
Yeah.
Like we were playing Cardi B, right? And she's like on the charts. You got Drake, and Drake is like those two have like four songs in the top 10. And then you have so you have the music has totally changed. And then you have these artists that, I don't like the fact that it's not as much variety with females, and they're all kind of wanting to clone
each other,
each other.
Yeah.
And I don't like that, because we had, my era, you know, you had a Diana Ross, a Gladys Knight, a Grace Jones, a Phyllis Hyman. You see, it's so diverse. And so I miss that. I miss that about this time with women.
Yeah. And you didn't go completely quiet when you stepped away. You also started Karyn White Enterprises. Tell us about what that entails. What does it do?
Yes. Well, you know, one thing about me is that I've always been very goal-driven, and that's a big part of my success, is that, you know, in elementary, they would call me Karyn White. I knew what I wanted to do. I was always like a little promoter putting together shows. And so when I left, I just, you know, I didn't say, oh, I'm going to stop singing. You know, I just went through a divorce from iconic and super producer Terry Lewis. And then my mother passed. So those two things, I kind of said, I'm going to step away.
Life happened.
Yeah, life happened, and I didn't feel like I was successful, because if I had, you know, we had all of this accolades, you know, 2-time Grammy nominee, Image Award winner, all these, you know, everything you could want, but you know, the most important thing, I felt I was losing. And in my spirituality, I didn't really like who I was becoming. So stepped away and said, okay, I'm going to do something that I can still raise my daughter, and you know, and I'll get back into the industry, you know, in a little bit after. She was only 3 years old, and so I started flipping homes, and which is improving homes. What do you call it? Not flipping here.
Renovating.
Renovating.
Yeah.
Because what's flipping homes? You're renovating homes, and this was back in like '97. Before I was like, darn it, I could have had a show if it was, you know, it wasn't hot back then.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I was doing that, and I would move and buy, you know, every 2 years, and so, you know, I started buying real estate, and I really grew as an entrepreneur, and I found that, like, wow, you know what, Karyn? Your biggest asset is your focus, because I found that I was very successful at that too. So then it was like, do I get back in the industry? I didn't know how to get back in it, because I felt like, you know, I knew, you know, everything had changed and hip hop was moving, and so I just kind of looked up and said, oh, well, I guess I'll just, you know, raise my daughter, and then I kept running out of excuses on.
You say something very poignant for me about focus, because I think this day and age, artists tend to focus more on relevance than longevity, and I think that you've achieved longevity. And if you were to advise young artists, how do they achieve longevity versus relevance in the moment? And because that's fleeting.
Wow, I would definitely say, even if I can do it again, I would even, the past is so important, knowing, you know, studying the iconic music and this timeless music, that's so important, because saying something, you know, it really, you know, people don't want to really be a role model today. They feel like, you know, I'm just living for today. But I think that's a big part in being timeless, is that, you know, you actually, you know, have a message. And that's when I started out, it was a lot of competition, and I would get compared to, you know, Janet Jackson, Jody Watley, because over in the States, I'm more of a dance. Started out with the dance kind of. Then once Superwoman came out, it was like, shoo, it totally separated me. So I would say that to the artists: you got to stand for something, and you know, and or you fall for anything. And so that was really important. That song, you know, I made a stand for women, and you know, don't take me for granted, and we're resilient, you know, and then just loving on each other as women. That was really important, that people felt, you know, like, wow, she's speaking for us, and being a brown girl, and all these things that was connecting me to. I think that was just a big part. If I could go back and say, you know. But, you know, it was a whirlwind, of course, and a lot of work, and you know,
it all makes so much sense now, that message, still.
Yes, it does. It really does.
Thank you so much for visiting South Africa. I'm sure you'll be here many more times to come, and big good luck for the show.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Absolutely. So Karyn White still has one more show coming up on the 4th of August at the Boardwalk ICC in Port Elizabeth. So make sure you get tickets. After the break, we're in the kitchen with Taste Magazine's food editor, Abigail Donnely. And today we're making a deliciously healthy veggie burger with sweet potato chips.
Ooh.
Welcome back to Afternoon Express. Now we're taking on this meat-free Monday with the mouth-watering veggie burger prepared by Abigail Donnely, who promises that it's going to be delicious. Everything you make is delicious.
Oh, thanks, Bonnie. It's really going to be delicious. So this is all about the plant-based movement, which is not a trend. It's going to be in our lives. It's going to be in our kitchen and in our pantries.
It is life-changing.
It really is, yeah. And I suggest that everybody has a plant-based burger and eats one just to make their choice as well, because it really does make you feel really great. And it's all about balance. So what we've got today is some beautiful butter bean and chickpea-based Woolies patties. There's beautiful mushroom ones as well. You can make your own with beetroot and quinoa, or just mash some chickpeas and butter beans together with coriander.
You just need a really good food processor for that.
Yes, you do, like this little baby. So talking of that, we're going to make our own vegan mayo, because it's plant-based and needs to be vegan. So this is what we're going to do. Now, usually it's called an aquafaba. So this is just the beautiful brine that butter beans and chickpeas come in that would make...
And it's good
your
for you.
substitute for your egg white.
Yes.
And it's great for you.
Okay.
If you're not into your eggs. And of course, if you're vegan, you wouldn't be.
Yes, you wouldn't.
But if you're vegetarian, that's also fine, because it just adds something different. And it's not as rich, because you don't use as much oil, and obviously because of the eggs. So what I like to do is add a little bit of chickpeas as well, or butter beans, whatever you want. And it's also about waste. You know, usually this brine goes down the sink. I also make meringues with it.
Wow.
Makes the most beautiful,
That's
gooey
incredible.
meringue as well. And with no egg.
Yeah.
And the recipes are all on the Taste website. And in the magazines as well. So I've just added a few chickpeas here. You can use some fresh turmeric and get it like really vibrant and yellow. Some mustard just for a little bit of emulsion. Some salt. Sometimes smoked salt is great. And a little bit of crushed garlic, which is always handy.
Yummy.
You could add some chili as well if you wanted. And then some oil.
You could basically
Beautiful,
just add anything you want.
You can, exactly, chives, Italian parsley, and then I'd say about a quarter of a cup to a quarter cup of that brine. Let's see if this works. Sure it will, this little baby.
I love this, it's so cute.
It's so cute.
It's portable.
Cool, and then press 2. And there we go.
Again?
A little bit. While you do that, I'm going to assemble my beautiful... Okay, that's it.
Okay.
That's it.
Doesn't have to be too fine.
No, not at all. If you wanted a little bit thicker, a little bit more of the brine, or some more chickpeas or butter beans.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
And the keyword for this recipe is eat. SMS that keyword to 33650 and you'll get the list of ingredients and the recipe sent to your device. Okay.
These are beautiful gluten-free buns. Again, I can smell the garlic, so beautiful. There we go. And I've toasted them just to get them like oozy and crispy.
I love how the gluten-free buns are just way thinner, just lighter.
But they are really beautiful. You kind of sometimes things gluten-free and it's like something's been substituted for flavour. This is fantastic. And here's our beautiful burger patty. You can dip them into a little bit of marinade if you want to, if you want them more sticky and kind of that meaty flavour. And if you don't want the buns, you don't want the bread, then use avo. Half an avo and stuff them in between, or even big brown mushrooms.
Big mushrooms, I was
and
about
then you've
to
got
say,
like an amazing meal. This beautiful crispy lettuce. Put lots on for crunch. I call it the crunch burger. Radish or beautiful pickled onions could also be nice.
Yummy.
And then some beautiful carrot or sweet potato chips, because we call it the crunch burger.
Oh, so you're putting it all in there?
All on top. And then this is great. This is new from Woolworths as well. This is harissa hummus. Yes, yeah. So it's all about, you could use like a dairy-free cream cheese, which is also going to be here on the shelf. And then just dollop that on.
Wow, this is so decadent, but ever so healthy.
So amazing and fresh and vibrant. What I didn't add was the lemon juice. I just saw the lemon. So just for a little bit of zing, just to break a bit of the fattiness, although there's not really much fat. And then what have we got? We've got some pesto. I like a coriander pesto. There's also nice kale pesto or just normal basil pesto. Right. And a nice drizzle over there. You can add a slice of tomato if you want. As I say, I love the red pickled onions as well. And there we go. Woohoo! Look how beautiful that is.
It's beautiful.
There we go. And then that's,
and you're just going to feel great after eating
Absolutely. Yeah. And as I say, with mushrooms or avo for creaminess, even some guacamole, you can just layer it and make it yourself. But this will last for about a week in the fridge, which is great.
Okay.
Yeah. So don't throw away your brine.
And you also don't even need to make a lot. You just make what you need and make it again.
Yeah. And you can have it with everything. You can even toss it onto pasta.
Yes, or toast in the morning.
Yeah, exactly. The new avo toast.
Thank you so much, Abigail.
Thanks, Bonnie.
So now that's a burger. And if you want this recipe, simply SMS EAT to 33650 and we'll send you the ingredients list and the recipe and the link. Happy eating. Coming up after the break, we sit down with the convener and national liaison for a powerful march against gender-based violence that is taking place this Wednesday called #Total Shutdown. Make sure you know all about it. We'll be right back. A warm welcome back to Afternoon Express to you. As our fur babies continue to grow, so does their presence on Instagram. And if you'd like to see more of Donut and Baxter living their best life, you can also follow them on Instagram. Just search The Adventures of Donut or The Adventures of Baxter for a unique look into their active lives and their fabulous lives behind the scenes.
They're cute, they're cuddly, and they're TV stars. Baxter and Donut, the adorably fluffy four-legged members of the Afternoon Express family, are sharing their daily adventures on social media. To see what Baxter and Donut get up to behind the scenes, follow The Adventures of Baxter and The Adventures of Donut on Instagram.
So Wednesday is the start of Women's Month. It's the 1st of August, and the day is being used by women and gender non-conforming people across the country to march against gender-based violence. The campaign takes place in all the major cities, towns, and even in Botswana, Lesotho, and Namibia. It's called #Total Shutdown, and we're joined now by the convener and national liaison, Onica Nonhlanhla Makwakwa. Welcome to the Loft. Lovely to have you with us.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, and I see you are appropriately dressed for
right,
the march.
I'm appropriately dressed. Tell us about the significance of these colours we're wearing.
Yes, certainly. We are saying that women have very little to celebrate as we move towards the National Women's Month.
Right.
And so we are taking a position that we are actually in mourning. So the black represents that we are in mourning, and the red represents the blood of the women that we have lost through femicide and gender-based violence.
Yeah. I mean, you raise a really important point. Every Women's Month, everything looks pink and rosy and lovely.
Yes.
And we make all these beautiful speeches and have these gala dinners and banquets, but we don't really address what's happening on the ground and what's really causing pain and turmoil in women's lives in South Africa. So what are the issues that you're wanting to address? So you've drawn up a memorandum that you're going to hand over on Wednesday during the march. What is tabulated on the memorandum?
Yes, so we want for the government, specifically addressing the president, to address the issue of gender-based violence and send a very strong message from the highest level of office in this country, so that we can all just really call attention to the scourge that is gender-based violence. So the first thing that we are calling upon is that recognition at the highest level of office, as well as calling a gender summit to talk about a gender-based violence summit to begin to discuss these issues and help us develop a national action plan to address gender-based violence.
Absolutely.
And so that process will engage other NGOs who, NGOs in this country have been the ones filling the gap where government has fallen short or where society in general has fallen short. But I think it's time that we begin to bring all of these stakeholders together and develop a national action plan that can give us hope that someday this will end. Because if you look at just these past few months leading up to this year, there's been very little that we could be encouraged by, whether it's missing women, young children being raped. I think, here in Cape Town, just as recently as this
the
past 5 days.
numbers are alarming.
Yes.
It's startling, yeah.
Very, very. I mean, femicide, we have a femicide rate that's 5 times average global levels. 1 woman is killed every 4 hours in this country. So while we listen to the president speaking about investment opportunities, whether it's in the BRICS summit or whatever, the question for us as women is, will we be here to enjoy those? At a rate of 4 women getting killed every 4 hours, I'm not so sure.
Yeah.
That we will. So we definitely want to focus on that. We also are realizing that a lot of the women are killed while they have protection orders in hand. Wow. And so we need transformation, including at that level. We are actually handing the president 24 demands, 1 for every year of our democracy. Because as women, we have not received our independence. If our constitutional right to safety has not been realized, and therefore are we free?
Yeah.
And so we hope that he will take us seriously, and that he will assemble the teams that need to be assembled to be able to help to begin to deliver on some of these. And issues like a registry, a national automated registry for protection orders is just one simple thing that could begin to get us to a point of
Moving
some level of
forward.
safety
Yeah,
for women.
yeah. So you've obviously run a media campaign and press releases have gone out. But any women watching who wants to get involved, where can they go to access more information, to see what the campaign's really about and why it matters to them?
Yes. So we started out on Facebook, and we're still very strong on Facebook. Over 100,000 women in 6 weeks have joined a closed group on Facebook. They can follow hashtag #TheTotalShutdown. We also have a website, thetotalshutdown.org.za. They can also follow hashtag #IWillMarch, because that will also lead them to that total shutdown. And I will march, I encourage every South African to look at that hashtag and read the stories of the women of this country.
Yeah, and just
what they
get
have
into
been going
it, get
through.
into that space,
Yes.
And what are the logistics of the march on the ground? Where are women meeting? What are they going to be wearing? Where does the march end and begin?
We've asked everyone to arrive in black with a touch of red in honor of the colors of the march that were collectively selected by the women in the social media platforms. We are marching in Cape Town. We will assemble at CPUT campus downtown and march to Parliament. In Gauteng, the women will be assembling at the Padco Depot, old depot station, Padco, and marching to Union Buildings. Women will also be marching in Bloemfontein to the U.S. Supreme Court, because those are the three pillars of government in terms of the kind of change we need, executive, legislative, and judiciary to bring that transformation. However, we do have women and gender non-conforming individuals also marching in other areas such as Durban, as well as Limpopo. Venda is marching, Nelspruit, and as you mentioned, Namibia, Botswana, and Lesotho as well. So, and those will be focusing whether it's premiers, regional offices, or police stations. And all that information can be found on our social media platforms with full details of where their march begins and where their march ends. And
it's incredible. And another important thing to note is men, even men who are part of the Not All Men Brigade, can't join the march.
No, I think this is a moment for men to reflect as well. It's a moment for women to lead. We understand that men want to support us, but at this moment, I think it's a moment for women to lead, and men can support us by staying away from work or filling in the shifts of the women who need to go to the march. There's many ways men can be able to participate. But we also need for them to reflect around holding each other accountable. It is quite amazing that every woman says they know someone who's been abused, but it's very rare to hear men say, my friend is an abuser. So that level of accountability and reflection, I think there will be a time when we need to come together and have these conversations with men and develop programs and initiatives. But at this moment, as we kick off Women's Month, we want this to remain a women-only march, including gender non-conforming individuals, as well as led by women primarily.
And women and gender non-conforming individuals who want to get involved but have to go to work or have responsibilities, how can they support the movement?
Certainly, and we have quite a lot of that. So on August 1st, from 1 p.m. to 1:30, we are calling for a national moment in solidarity. This is the total shutdown. We are asking people, including those who are at work, to stop working, especially women who are able to wear black with a touch of red, to stop working and observe that moment. We are anticipating that will be when all of the memoranda will be read in Parliament, in Bloemfontein, at the Supreme Court, as well as at the Union Buildings. So we are asking that, at least they be allowed that 30 minutes to connect, spiritually, emotionally, and otherwise with the movement.
Absolutely. This is so important, and thank you so much for doing this and coming to share it with us. We will all get involved as much as we can.
Great, and thanks for the opportunity.
Absolutely. So let us know if you'll be attending the hashtag Total Shutdown March on Wednesday. Tweet us at Afternoon Chat using the hashtag Afternoon Express, or comment on our Facebook page and just talk about how you want to get involved and rally other women to get involved. And after the break, it's time for another installment of the Mommy Mondays. And today we continue last week's conversation, which got everybody quite riled up around no homework for school kids. And we'll be chatting to a principal of a school that has completely eliminated homework as a policy.
Express your
A warm welcome back to Afternoon Express. We're running a really exciting competition this week where you could walk away with an awesome prize from Comfytex, including a designer handbag, luxurious spa voucher, 2,000 Rand cash, and a Comfytex hamper to the total value of 5,000 Rand. The new range of Comfytex pads, Comfytex Ultra Thin and Comfytex Maxi Thick pads are both designed to give you the protection, discretion and comfort that you need when you need it most. Enjoy the best protection with one of South Africa's leading panty liner brands and celebrate one less thing to worry about every month with Comfytex. SMS WIN to 33650. VAS rates apply. T's and C's also apply. Visit afternoonexpress.co.za for more information.
Anytime is snack time with Clover Snack Pack Yogurt, made with love by Clover.
So with Clover, snack pack anytime is snack time, and we all know that kids are known to say the darndest things when you least expect it. They're always asking the tough questions about life, the whys, with their curious minds, and have the craziest things to say. So this time we sat down with a group of Clover snack pack kids to answer some of their own funny questions, prepared to be entertained by their responses.
What's the best thing about being a kid?
That your life is fun.
You don't have to work.
It's being protected by your family. No responsibilities.
Exactly.
If you built a house when you grew up, what would it look like?
I'd make it look like a rocket ship. It will be like a 2-story house, be very long, and they will have an underground with the lift, with a building.
All white, double mansion, triple mansion.
Quadruple mansion. There would be a parking lot, but a small parking lot, like not like a garage, a bit bigger than that.
What do you think is in outer space?
I don't know. It's a really cold place. Aliens.
It's just big, open, bunch of fireballs in the sky.
Planets, meteors, that's coming in a million years' time.
If you were invisible for a day, what would you do?
I would definitely sneak up on people, give someone money.
Like a grocery shop, and then like just take all the cereal I want.
What are you really, really good at doing?
Singing. Singing and dancing and playing the piano and reading. I'm really good at swimming.
Sports, soccer.
And I like to do acting and dancing.
What is the funniest word you know?
Shawarma. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Panini.
What are you scared of?
The dark.
Scorpions.
Everything that is spooky and kind of like scary. Losing an eye.
Would you rather be able to fly or read minds?
Reading minds.
Be able to fly. Read minds.
We can sort of already fly with aeroplanes. And reading minds we can't do yet.
Then you would know what they're talking about.
Or if they're worried, I can cheer them up. You never know what people are thinking of you. Then you can just catch them out.
What is your favorite song and can you sing it?
I don't really like to sing in front of
Freaky Friday.
I think it's called Looking to the Moon or something like that. I like Thriller by Michael Jackson.
Thriller!
Looking to the moon. I don't know.
Thriller
night, so let me hold you tight and shiver, killer, thriller tonight.
What's the greatest thing about being you?
By passing each class I have been, because I have never failed a class. Handsome. The ladies are always after me.
I'm very good at sport and I like sport, so yeah.
It's that I'm amazing.
Anytime is snack time with Clover Snack Pack Yogurt, made with love by Clover.
Those kids are so cute and so hilarious and so much attitude. So last week we discussed a new wave of thinking in some South African schools that are implementing no homework for students. And after receiving many strong opinions, we decided to extend the conversation with Gavin Keller, principal at Sun Valley Primary, one of the few schools that have already implemented the no homework policy with great success. Welcome to the Loft.
Thank you so much. Lovely to be here.
Yeah, you are my hero because homework has become a parent problem as well. There's frazzled parents, there's children who are overwhelmed, you're finding children doing homework till like 9 o'clock at night, and sometimes it just feels unreasonable. And Finland has implemented this policy to great success. Tell us why Sun Valley thought it was time.
Well, we were just at that point where we were asking we were really reimagining schooling and saying, how can we be doing the same thing in the 21st century that was happening 100 years ago? And surely there is a better way of getting children to be excited to be at school. And when we started looking at one of the big things that children really did not like about school was this concept of having to carry on with it in the evening.
Yes.
And so we decided to look at what the research said, and we could find absolutely not a single piece of research that showed that there was any value to it. And so schools were doing something that was classically part of schooling, but in terms of 21st century learning, it had no place.
Right.
And neuroscience was very much on our side, saying that the brain needs to rest and the brain needs to play. And if you're not creating that within your school day, then you're not basing your school on how the human brain learns.
Yeah, and you're probably creating less creative parents, adults.
Absolutely,
Yeah, and children,
absolutely. Well, what you're doing is you're filling a home environment with anxiety. And I mean, when we see, I just saw the recent statistic of something like 62% of homes being run by single parents and single women, female parents. So we have these super women trying to hold down careers and jobs and hold it all together, and then come home and face a list in the homework diary that is like, they just look at it and they just see another 2 hours of work. And unless you are medicated as a parent, there is no chance that you're going to approach that with this lovely, warm, engaging smile with your child. Let's do this together.
Yeah. So what is the psychological, you've just said anxiety, it creates anxiety in the home. What has been the psychological effect of no homework? What are the results that you've witnessed?
Well, it's been so interesting because we've just started year 4. So our grade 1s are in grade 4. So they've never had homework. And our grade 4s are in grade 7, and they really can't remember homework. So when we talk to our children about homework, they're like, what is this? It's something that our friends do at other schools, but we don't. So what we've created, unbeknown to the children, is a space where school is a really good place to be.
Yes.
And the 6.5 hours that they're spending at school every day is a place where they know that is where the work has to be done, and it has to be completed. And they have to hand it in. And so there's no chance for it to be sent home to be completed or to go and practice it as though the brain is a muscle that you've got to go and practice. The brain is a neural network and it needs to rest. The very best thing you can do for a brain is to allow it to do nothing.
Yeah. Even we as adults, we don't like taking work home. And then you've got these children who have to take work home every single day.
There are companies around the world now that are designing systems where the emails are no longer available once you step out of the office building, so that when you go home, you actually go home, partake in a hobby, exercise, go to the gym, spend time with your family, walk on the beach, go for a surf if you can. But that's not happening in our schools. So somehow we've created this ridiculous mindset that if we work our children to death, they will be brighter. And the research is showing that they will be more anxious and at a higher risk of suicide.
Wow.
And we're seeing it already in the statistics.
We're seeing it already. And some parents who are anti the no homework policy argue that, but then my children will come home and watch TV and they won't have anything to do. But that's the irony is that it's possibly better to then free up their time to do extramurals, for you to engage with your child, not over an Afrikaans mondeling, but to actually chat to them about their day, what's been going on. Maybe we can go ride a bike. Maybe you can go swimming.
You're
absolutely right. It's time for parents to also be present. It's
when you get to know children, I've worked with them for 36 years. Children we often say that because of digital devices, children are attached or addicted to the screen. They're addicted to the screen because they are exhausted. And so that is one way, it's an escape. When they have time to play, they play. And we have seen we've always made our children at our school play one sport a week. Now we have 2 sessions. We have a 2:30 to 4 session and a 4 to 6 session. And our field is full of children every single day, 6 days a week, simply because they have the time and they can participate and they can play. And if they're not at school playing sport, they are riding their bikes, and you know what? A little bit of screen time has never killed anyone.
Yeah.
And that's where good parenting comes in. You start containing, you start saying you can have an hour or you can have 40 minutes. And then we're all going to sit down at the supper table. There's going to be a basket that we're going to throw all our cell phones into, and we're going to have a discussion around the supper table about what's happening in the world. We're going to watch the news, we're going to watch the TV, and we're going to talk about what's really happening.
And another important thing to note is because children have so much homework and they're overwhelmed, they don't enjoy reading for pleasure.
Absolutely.
And a no homework policy allows for that to happen.
So that was the deal I made with the kids. And it was one of those real, hand on the heart pledge. I will not pay your teachers if they give you homework. But if you don't read for 20 minutes, I lose the deal with the teachers. So I will force them, if you make a promise to read for a minimum of 20 minutes. Let me tell you, we can't cope with the number of books that the children are wanting to read. The desire to read, the availability of time to read, the knowledge that I can get home from playing sport and get in and have a shower and get into bed and just read.
And look forward to it.
And look forward. And in knowing that tomorrow is another day at school.
Yeah.
And I'm going to work hard at school. I'm going to complete the curriculum that has to be done because it can be done if it's just well planned and well designed.
Yeah.
And so it's all possible if there's good order and good structure.
Now, one can imagine that anything that has a positive effect on the learners will have a positive effect on the educators. How is it affecting them?
Well, it's very interesting that out of the parents were very supportive, the children loved it, the teachers are the ones that have the problem because it's so much part of classical teaching that if I'm not sending work home to practice, I'm not a good teacher. And it's taken a while to train teachers to almost unblock that mindset, to realize that, oh my word, you can achieve so much more. Plus, you haven't got a class's work that has to be assessed as they come in from the day before. So we work according to time. We do what we call time on task. There's a clock in every classroom. This has to be done in 20 minutes.
Yes.
After 20 minutes, you rule off, you hand it in, that gets assessed. Because 90% of the homework that was being done that wasn't being completed in class. So there was always the teacher, and you'll remember from school. If you're not going to do it in class, you're going to do it at home.
Do it at home.
And that's really a sign.
And then automatically you go, fine, I'll just do it slowly.
And my mom's good at Afrikaans, so she'll help me with that. My dad's good at math, so he'll do it. So for me, it's really placed everything back on the child. And what we're starting to see is an accurate assessment of a child's true potential. Because a child that is lucky enough to say have a mom at home waiting in the car to start the homework as they get in the car, compared to a child whose mom is actually cleaning that house of the child whose mom's in the car.
Yes.
And by the time that mom gets home to assist her, everyone is exhausted. So they come back to school with so different abilities, presenting different abilities, but actually that's not a true reflection of their ability.
It's almost an interesting equalizer.
It's a total equalizer.
Evens the playing field.
And what you start seeing all children improving.
Excel.
Because now it's my performance, my demonstration of my ability in class
that matters.
That matters.
Yes.
And not what I can get my dad to do, or have we got a color printer at home that'll print the assignment, or my graphic artist mom who will do the artwork for me, and then I'll be number one in the class. And those days are over. And what you do is that you create a real home at school, that school is a great place to be. It's a place where we totally are in this together.
Yeah. Thank you so much. You are certainly my hero, and I really hope that more schools adopt this policy or at least start a conversation around
Absolutely.
it. Now, we'll be back on the couch with more from our guests after the break, so stay right where you are. Welcome back to Afternoon Express. Now today we're joined by R&B royalty Karyn White, who is currently on tour in South Africa as part of the Divas 2018 tour. So, Karyn, I hear there is a movie that you have produced, you are starring in, and you've also written the soundtrack for.
And co-wrote it.
And co-wrote it.
Yes, it's called Gale in the Storm, Bringing Back the Funk. Gotta save my vocals.
Yeah.
But yeah, yes, it's an independent film. And it's loosely based on my life. It's about a legendary funk singer who walks away from the business at the height of her career, and she hooks up with a revolutionary music producer, and he tries to get her back into the game. Yeah, and it was fun. We shot it in 7 days, and we did the soundtrack in 2 days. So this all happened within a week, and I really, I really feel like once I didn't really think a movie, people think it's so, I guess it is, but it just we had an eclipse that week, and everything just really, the cards were, right in our favor that week, and we were able to get it done.
Yeah.
And
I love that eclipse week.
Yes.
So many things happened that were just like, what is going on?
And I think that's what happened, and it was, it was cool. We did it in Sacramento, and it's probably one of my, greatest accomplishments.
That is incredible.
Because I started, once I got out of the business, I got back in, and then I said, okay, once you get, I think I was like in my 40s once I got back in, so it was like, who cares, I'm doing it all now.
I'm coming for everything.
You're liberated. Yeah, I'm coming for it.
Yeah.
I am a superwoman. And so, started taking acting lessons, singing lessons, and
that is amazing.
every kind of lesson.
I mean, that is an interesting factor that you raise is that actually as you get older, you grow in confidence. You suddenly say, I'm tired of having those questions. I'm tired of holding on to those fears. Everything that I've ever wanted to do, it's now time for it.
Exactly.
And it's interesting how it all just lines up and falls into place.
Yes, and then, you know, the movement at that time, because I had an album released, it was called Carpe Diem, Seize the Day, and it was like, you know, just being fearless and relentless, and just, you know, I really wanted to let other people know that if I can do it, coming back in a business, that they can start the business, that they can go back to school. I really wanted to show people, if I'm doing it, you guys, and it's hard work. It's not like I'm, you know, starting back on the top. So they're seeing me, you know, my fans it's really fun because I'm really transparent. You know, I do these motivational Mondays, and it's really to keep myself motivated too.
It's important,
Yeah, it's important, yeah. So.
And also, I mean, women need to hear this message because a lot of us take time out to get married, have children, raise the children, and we put a lot on the back burner, and we put a lot of our lives on hold, and not that that's not a part of your life, but there comes a time where you want to now integrate all those aspects of your life and live your dream holistically.
Yes, and we can.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of what I did. It's like, okay, success at an early age, take the time off, and, you know, but the whole thing I would want to say is that I just want to let, you know, just let everybody know that you can, you know, like you said, it's a mindset. You can if you think you can. And that's really the best part about living is like, what, if you don't have a dream and a passion to look forward to, it's like, what is life? You know what I mean? So for me, I keep challenging myself. And who knows what I'm going to do next. I'm actually taking opera lessons because I love opera.
Wow. That's incredible. You are so inspiring.
Thank
we
you.
can't wait to see the film.
Yes, go check it out. It's an Amazon exclusive. You can go get it on Amazon. You can go to gailandthestorm.com. Check it out, and you'll get to see another side of Karyn White. I'm very funky and edgy because I play a funk singer, and I was able to sing songs that were kind of reminiscent of, like, you know, the 70s era.
Yes.
So you got like the James Brown. I have like Tina Marie in there, and Curtis Mayfield sounding songs, Al Green. I'm excited. It's fun.
We're also very excited. Thank you so much for joining us again. So make sure you join us again tomorrow for another edition of the Afternoon Express Cook Along. Our special guest is DJ and house music producer Da Capo. But yeah, see you tomorrow, same time, same place. Have a good night and God bless.
Afternoon Express, made with love by Clover.
Another feel-good production.